Okay, and so in this video, I want to talk about the benefits, the health benefits of intermittent fasting. So, what is intermittent fasting? Essentially, what it is, it's a pattern between eating and periods of not eating. For example, there are many ways to follow an intermittent fasting protocol in terms of how long you should fast. And again, there's all kinds of opinions on which is better, but generally speaking, what I do personally, and this is something I do 5 to 6 days a week, generally speaking, 6 days with one day of, I call it carb loading. So like Sunday, generally speaking, is the day where I don't necessarily follow this, but Monday through Saturday I do. And so generally speaking, my first meal will be somewhere between 3 and 5 p.m. And I will eat just as many calories as most people will consume, but I'm stacking my calories. So what that means is I start eating between 3 and 5 and I just keep going. Generally speaking, it's a big meal with maybe a follow-up second meal. And then I'm done around 8 or 8:30 in the evening. So that's generally speaking what I do. So that's kind of gives you an idea of what intermittent fasting is. Again, it's a pattern of cycling between eating and fasting and stacking your calories. Now, I want to go over some reasons why you should consider this. And these are evidence-based rationale or reasons, and so I want to go through them one by one. So first and foremost, thousands of studies have shown that intermittent fasting both repairs cells as well as improves brain function. Specifically, it improves the function of your cells, creates more hormone sensitivity, and improves gene expression, which is very important, especially when we deal with our genetic weaknesses. So things like various types of autoimmune disease, including type 2 diabetes, Hashimoto's, celiacs, Crohn's, rheumatoid arthritis, and many others. It also helps to stabilize hormones and hormone sensitivity. So when you're not eating food, lots of things are happening. First and foremost, energy is being redirected to healing these damaged cells. And by doing that, it naturally alters hormone levels, hormones such as, and there's many, but such as adiponectin, which then makes stored fat more accessible for you to use as convertible energy, or to take it and use it and convert it to energy. Here's some other things that you'll see with regard to intermittent fasting. And that is, you'll see improvements in insulin. If you're not eating food, you're not going to have these spikes in insulin. One of the things that we know about anti-aging is that in order to maximize anti-aging is to keep insulin levels low. So intermittent fasting helps with that. And it also drives massive stem cell production, which, by the way, stem cells are essentially the precursors to all the cells in the body and are pushed to parts of the body to help heal those cells. Also, you see a massive spike in growth hormone, which, by the way, is very important for the facilitation of fat burning as well as muscle gain. Now, as we just talked about, cellular repair, that's a very important process, right? And so intermittent fasting allows for energy to be redirected to repairing the cells and also to allow for the removal of waste materials that have built up within the cell. And then gene expression. We talk about having good genes and bad genes. What intermittent fasting can allow for is to deactivate bad genes and to activate the healthy good genes. And it does this by improving your epigenetics, which you can, if you're interested in that, you can learn more about that. Just YouTube epigenetics, and you can watch videos and learn more about it. However, epigenetics, the way to think of it is it's the software that controls the computer, the gene. So something for you to look at. Number 2, intermittent fasting can help you lose weight and belly fat. And we've proven that in our program. We use IF as a part of our reduction phase. So it's, again, really important to not only consider this during a weight loss program, but also, just to maintain those results. Now, again, intermittent fasting does facilitate weight loss, and most importantly, it helps to target that belly fat, which is by far the worst part of the body to deposit fat. It's actually, you increase your risk for various diseases and life expectancy quite significantly. Okay, so again, short short-term intermittent fasting does increase your metabolic rate, and there's some percentages that you can see here between 3.5% to 14%, just depending on the research and study that you're reading. And so that's, again, a reason why you should be considering intermittent fasting. Number 3, as I just talked about in terms of type 2 diabetes, it does lower your insulin resistance, right? So this is, again, as we were talking about earlier, if you're not eating, you're not going to have spikes of insulin. So again, by IFing, you are going to reduce your insulin resistance and lowering your risk for developing type 2 diabetes. Number 4, IF can also reduce oxidation and inflammation in the body, and that's something that we talk a lot about. About inflammation is the root cause for, you can say, almost all disease, if not all disease. And again, several studies have shown that IF will enhance the body's resistance to this oxidation and will allow for the cell specifically to, the cell membrane, I should say, allowing the cell membrane to function the way it's designed to, creating hormone sensitivity in the cells. So again, a really, really important concept to really understand. Number 5, intermittent fasting has been shown through some smaller studies to reduce the risk of heart disease, right? And we all know that heart disease is the biggest killer right now. So again, really important to look at markers in the blood, inflammatory markers like C-reactive proteins, your sugar levels, blood triglycerides. These are all factors that are affected when you're not fasting. So again, another reason why you should be considering IF. Number 6, it induces, again, cell repair. So we just talked about that. That process where the cells remove waste products is called autophagy or autophagy, however you want to say that. But essentially what happens is the body metabolizes and breaks down dysfunctional proteins or parts of the cell that are not working correctly. So it engulfs itself. And by creating a state of fasting, the body can do this correctly. Now, IF can help this, but long-term fasts actually tend to be more beneficial in this regard. Needless to say, very important concept to understand and see there is value in this particular case with IFing. Number 7, some studies have shown that it does help prevent or reduce, it may, I should say, help prevent or reduce certain cancers. So again, there's lots of things we can say about this, but just consider that as one of the benefits to intermittent fasting. Number 8, it helps to improve brain function. And the reason, again, here is that it reduces the oxidation, inflammation, deposits of glycogen in the brain or sugar, which in turn will help many cognitive functions of the brain. As well as you can see in number 9, it can and it may prevent degenerative conditions, things or neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and many others. So again, that's another factor or reason to consider. Many studies actually have shown, and some of them are anecdotal observations, where even folks that have these conditions, dementia and Alzheimer's, when their diet has been changed, where they're increasing their fat intake and they're intermittently fasting, that they've actually observed a significant slowdown in the degenerative process in these particular patients. So again, something to be considering. And then finally, number 10, intermittent fasting can or may extend your lifespan, meaning you have longer quality of life. And again, this speaks to the whole anti-aging point or discussion or movement that's been going on for quite some time now. And again, it all comes down to stem cells and stem cell production. So those are some benefits to intermittent fasting. For those of you that are on this program, you know that it's something that you can get used to quite quickly, and many of our clients post-program are able to continue that. They just don't feel the need to eat breakfast. And again, I think the myth that breakfast is the most important meal of the day has been now many times disproven. And so I would applaud you to just kind of look through these points, consider them, and think of implementing this intermittent fasting into your daily routine, even post-program.